Expect here.
Wait, say that again?
I'm not. I don't
Say
remember.
that one more time?
I'm not. Look, that's not a scripted intro. That's all just coming to my mind as we go here. It's Kungarna versus the Savages. Kungarna has Harblue and Jesus. Continue.
Okay. Well, I mean, whenever Harblue's in a game and we have Hollywood being picked, I have a giant Monka-esque going on in my mind because I'm a little bit afraid of what can potentially happen on the map if they break it again with Sombra and May. But what can we expect here? Let's see. Harblue was playing the D.Va yesterday. Shane was playing like the Winston and the Reinhardt. We saw the Plasma Steak. Sorry, I said snake, not steak. And hopefully today we'll keep it to his real name and not talk about. Maybe we can do animals today. Plasma Squirrel. I don't know.
Oh.
I remember in particular with his name just because, well, not because we were obviously doing foods, but because he got focused down a lot, quite a bit in a majority of the games. So I think we need to see like the Savages protect him a little bit more, and just to kind of give you guys an update or an idea of what happened yesterday. It was Savages against Chicken Ranch Pizza, and they didn't even get first point on Route 66. They got 1 point on Lijiang Tower, got 1 point on King's Row, but that was obviously not enough to beat them. And then for Kungarna, they lost 0-3 against Envision, where they didn't cap anything on Lijiang Tower. They only got 1 point in Hollywood, and on King's Row, they did actually complete, but they completed in overtime, so Envision was able to capture the first third of the point.
One thing I wonder is if Kungarna was a rough matchup against Envision, where Envision yesterday, if there was a hallmark of their play, they really went out of their way to focus tanks down at the first glance, and Shane is more of an aggressive tank player to begin with, who generally gets a lot of mileage and makes a lot of big plays, but had difficulty sort of getting freedom to work against that level of tank focus we saw from Envision. I don't know if we're going to be seeing the same level of tank pressure coming out from the Savages.
I'm not sure either. I think Shane should have like a little bit of a way easier time staying alive. And I think that maybe the problems they had from yesterday of keeping him alive when it came to these pushes should have been solved by now. I want to see how Izire is going to do. We already know Jesus, fantastic player. Izire had some really good plays yesterday. I think it was on his Genji, if I'm not mistaken, that we saw him use. And then Capo and Derek. I don't know, Derek and Capo, like, what's weird is, I mean, obviously I did have 0-3, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of maybe a little bit too harsh, but in my mind, I don't think they did anything that kind of stood out to me. I don't know if you could think of anyone or any play.
Well, I don't really look to Derek and Kappa. I do remember Ace of Spades having several very big moments on Winston where he would get 3 or 4 people. And of course, that's not really in a bubble that is supported by his DPS, but I would say that the tank play was probably a brighter spot on the Savages than their DPS plays, so watching the exchanges here will be very interesting. But again, I do wonder if Kungarna's just going to come out very strong here, because you have 2 very aggressive tanks in Shane and Harblue, and while that might have been bad against a team like Envision that, made chewing up tanks their priority, it might work out really well against a team like the Savages, which might not have that level of tank bloodlust.
I guess it comes down to what Kungarna wants to do. Do they want to dive, or are they going to play up front? And it looks like what they currently have are going to be seeing the Harblue Hog going to be coming out. That'd be a great team name, the Harblue Hogs. Going to be on Roadhog. We're going to see, it looks like Shane going to be on Reinhardt. I wonder if they're going to pair another tank, though. Okay, so they're actually going to potentially switch it up to a Winston. I was fine with the Reinhardt, to be honest.
Harblue's not moving. Nope, Harblue's going to D.Va. I think Harblue just wants people to know that he hasn't given up his love of the Hog, but the meta shackles him. It constrains him to playing D.Va.
All right, so the run dive. So we're going to see if they're able to dive past the tanks, and most importantly, if Shane can stay alive this time with some help from his team, or if the focus, and likewise, is there for the Savages to kill him.
All right, Harblue work his way in, and the dive is immediately moving in here to the cafe. Shane and Harblue in. Shane and Harblue out. Not deciding to commit as hard, as Jesus is taken out by Derek on the flank, so they're down 1 member here immediately. And Kungarna, the question is, do they commit even harder, or do they back out? It looks like they're trying to back out a bit. Can they do so cleanly? If they do after taking out Capo, they can re-engage here as 6, and that's exactly what they're doing. The re-engagement is coming in. Shane wasn't able to get free, though, and that's going to hurt the amount of pressure they can put in.
I did like what Shane did. He did this yesterday quite a bit too on Hollywood on first point. He jumps in and feints a jump into Cafe and backs away and backs onto points. He actually baits in the other Winston to jump, and he baits out cooldowns at the enemy team for them to back away from the dive. It's actually really effective. It just kind of didn't work out in the end because they did lose. I think it was Izire off the bat. No, it wasn't Izire, but that was someone. Jesus, probably.
It was Jesus. He lost the Tracer battle on the flank. But now Shane moving in. Pressure onto the cafe once more. And again, Kungarna just trying to make some space here. But they do catch Ace of Spades out of position before the barrier hits. He's not able to be helped with it, and a barrier of their own from Kungarna going to help seal this fight as Izire, the blade, a little bit of finishing work onto Plasma Snake.
Yeah, Shane got a bubble down right around the self-destruct, protected his teammates from dying to that one, and then they quickly turn this into a capture. It's going to be 2 minutes and 18 seconds left on the board, and they have been able to take the first point. And on the other side now for Savages, well, they invested a sound barrier into that, but they don't have the Transcendence just yet. It's going to be there in just a second or two. And they're going to have Kappa with the tactical advisor. So get him on the high ground, let him play from there, maybe look for a decent onto hard blue, and then you can put some sort of control and take away and eat it some time away from the enemy team.
So even though the Transcendence from the Zenyatas is going to be a key part in the next fight, one thing that doesn't really care about the Transcendence if you hit people close enough is self-destruct. So Hard Blue, master of his own destiny here, and how he tries to set up the self-destruct. Right now he's on high ground, most of the enemy team below him. He's going to dive in, and so far, not using the self-destruct. Instead, he's going to get poked down and has to use it just to get his mech back, but everyone's able to get away from that, so he's not able to make that a huge play. However, all of Kungarna able to get out successfully. The Transcendence did not spell their doom, and now they can re-engage, where it's going to be a pretty even fight here, Jason. No ults on either side.
Well, they're getting really close to us, so a lot of major ones. They have the blade coming out soon, they have the pulse bomb, they also have a sound barrier in just 20% time. So just poke a little bit more, work around this, and then engage when you have the ult advantage. You can see Jesus trying to go in, trying to bait out the defense matrix for the pulse bomb, but he's still looking for an avenue to use it.
And they've bought enough time here for the barrier to come in. Izire has built the blade and immediately unsheaths, goes to the back, looks for Soldier, not able to swing the blade in time, but it doesn't matter. Kappa was so out of position from that, Shane finishes the kill. 2 kills here from Kungarna, a 3-1 edge now, and they should be able to push this right up to the apex of point B.
Shane's gonna go down. Derek picks himself up a double kill now. Finally, he will fall to Izire, but they still have 2 teammates off to the side, and they have the respawn advantage too, but because of them being too far pushed out, Plasma Snake goes down, Ace of Spades is gonna fall, and now the chance of them defending as quick as they possibly could has just completely been taken away from them.
And one thing that's really rough for the Savages here is that they're gonna be forced in how they move out. There's not gonna be a lot of subtlety in how Hui does a self-destruct, but sometimes 4 self-destructs where the other team thinks are good can do more than expected. Hui gonna move out here onto the point, still holding on to the self-destruct, and I don't know about that. Kungarna just let them get positioning and then some. Hui's gonna drop the self-destruct and even gets Jur. It's weird to me though, Jason. Why would you let a defense set up that quickly?
I don't know. I mean, it's not like they were waiting for people to come back from spawn, right? Like, they pretty much had everyone there.
I think they did have most people there. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 are coming back from spawn, but you still want to pressure the spawn door.
Yeah.
The Savages just kind of walked right out. It was open season, and now they've even regained high ground advantage, so I question the lack of aggressiveness there from the offense. Hui, though, lucky to get out of his life, was very much out of position.
I mean, I guess the only thing, I mean, they don't have like a soldier to like spam in the doorway. They have a Genji you can spam and maybe dash through it, but you still, like you said, yeah, you want to apply pressure there. Jesus is going to be sitting inside the saloon though, trying to go for a flank onto Derek. The drive has come in, and Shane gets a little bit too far caught out. Who is able to finish him off here with the help of the Discord Orbs and a Plasma Snake, and now they're on the attack.
They're on the attack right now, and the problem is that Haku's invested in Transcendence into this fight. Hard Blue, throwing the self-destruct, gets gunned down before he's able to get back into his mech. And the ult usage towards the end of the fight there when they were already down Shane, questionable for Kungarna, and as a result, they're going to get thrown far back to their spawn.
And we're going to have the self-destruct again back up for Hui. Have the Primal Rage too. Derek and Kappa did invest the tactical advisors in the post bombs, so they're kind of equal to their counterparts, their DPS counterparts to the enemy team, except Jesus is at 66% for another post bomb. Derek's going to look for a lot of poke here, and I believe he's been spotted out. He's actually on top of the bank. And I think Izire might have just noticed him, but already Jesus has fallen. Plasma Snake picks up a great kill onto him, gives them the man advantage, and halts his push yet again.
And just picking off a Tracer like that buys you time, effectively removes 1 push from the attempt counter of Kungarna, and things are very deadly serious here for Kungarna. If they're not able to make this next push work, they're going to be held here at second, which makes their odds of winning so much worse. But now, you take a look at them on the top. Haku picked off by Derek. They're delayed again.
And Jesus, because he died in the last fight, wasn't able to get the pulse bomb up for that engage that they're looking for. He's going to have it up now, but with them already losing a couple of people, there's no way they can force the engagement. Though you have to be careful if you're the defending side here. You don't want to push too aggressively. You don't want to get caught up by the pulse bomb. You want to waste as much time as possible on the re-entry. Look for picks as they do come in and straggle in, which Derek's already in a position to be set up to do.
If there's one good part here for the offense is that they've been so anemic for so long, the payload has gone quite a bit further back, so they can get payload pressure here without going too deep in. Jesus holding on to the pulse bomb now. Soundbearer coming out early from the offense. Jesus tries to stick, doesn't connect into the back. And now here comes the defensive self-destruct from Hui. Over the top, clears out room but gets no kills. So far though, the offense unable to really poke anyone down to the point of securing a kill. And the defense holding strong. Ace of Spades under pressure though, a little bit too far out. Jesus fishing the kill. 5 on 5 as Harblu self-destruct late into the fight. Is it gonna connect? Not quite, but room has been made and the offense still in this fight.
Haku able to pick up a double kill. Capo takes on Harblu. Well, he's trying to go for the remake, so he does buy them some time and some sort of chance to hold on to this defense. But now, Kowloon's going to be chased down, eventually killed, and there's going to be a 6-man advantage now on the payload as the push is going to come in for Kungarna. It's an overtime, but it looks like they're going to be able to do it here nonetheless.
Overtime underway right now. 2 meters up, and nope, the defense still getting touched. Ace of Spades throws his body right in there, but for how long, I'm not sure. One monkey against the world. Though Hui and Derek getting in here, the rest of the team moving in. Defensive sound barrier going to be met by the offensive sound barrier and a Dragon Blade. But it still isn't too bad for the defense. They did force quite a bit out of the offense, including Barrier Blade. Did require an investment of their own, but overtime will end here as there's a minute 30 left on the clock. Just about everything was left on the field and then some there for Kungarna to even get that point.
Unfortunate for Plasma Stake too, because he switched to Moira to get back in as quick as he possibly could. And then he was forced to switch back to Zen, so he lost, like 20-30% of his ultimate that he would have been able to have by now, which puts him really far behind Haku, giving Kungarna now a big advantage on this next fight.
So, the Savage, Jason, with that in mind, if they're going to do anything to get some stability here, you turn the Hui. This is one of the better areas to get a good self-destruct. He drops it to the back line. It stops, doesn't connect, but does do some damage to people on the outskirts. The Savages, though, Ace of Spades used a Primal Rage early in the fight, had the back out, didn't get the most benefit out of it early on, but Shane counter-dives perhaps a little bit too deeply. Plasma Snake's in trouble, but he's going to get healed right up by Kowloon, and the Savages came real close to being wiped there, able to bring it back with good healing and good grouping up, and now they can push the offense back.
Well, because they win this fight, though, Plasma Snake is getting very close to his Transcendence. Haku's going to have it up, but Kowloon's going to have an advantage when it comes to the Sound Barrier. Jesus trying to go in really deep here, try to force them back. The payload is getting some distance as they are running out of time. Again, since this is a hybrid map, they need to finish with at least 1 second left coming into the defending half.
Plasma Snake able to take down Harblu early on. Derek moving on the point, aided by the Sound Bear. Transcendence very soon to be coming in. Plasma Snake probably just going to pop it immediately here. No reason not to. And there it is. Transcendence for the defense versus Transcendence on the offense. Everyone feeling rather zen right now. Meanwhile, Hui in Diva. Self-destruct over the top. It's sneaky. It might catch some people here. Does not catch anyone. Zones them out a little bit further. And the defense here, Jason, winning this battle of attrition for sure.
That could have been a completely different fight, though. Ezire got picked off by the Helix Rocket at Capo and the left click out of Plasma Snake to kill him while he was taking out his blade. That blade could have been enough to reset them with how chaotic an overtime push is. That could have been the deciding factor that could have allowed Kungarna to finish, but well done here by the Savages.
All right. So, Savages able to hold firm, and this is, I think, a little bit stressful for Kungarna, because if you take a look at Kungarna, there is some notable star power there, where you have Shane, who's sort of done the world tour, but has become a more well-known name in Overwatch, Harblu, who needs no introductions, Jesus, and Jer, who well-known for their tenure on Renegades. This is a case where this team would be expected to go somewhat far in this tournament, but the upcomers, the team that's had quite a bit of success in Open Division, the Savages, looked pretty good on Hollywood there.
Yeah, I mean, the Savages, let me go just look really quick. I think they're 7-2 last time I checked in the Open Division. That's not a bad record, actually 7-3, so that's not a bad record at all. And it's just like their opportunity, like the fact that you are unknown gives you such a disadvantage when it comes to like make it into other teams or to be, considered for tryouts for other teams. So this is their opportunity to show everyone out there like, hey, maybe you should, give us a little bit of respect, maybe give some more chances. And they've been proving it so far. I think they've done really well. There's been some decent individual plays, like for instance, Plasma Stake there at the end, killing Azire in the middle of a blade being used. That might have just saved him the half.
Very well might have, but now 30 seconds ago here, Jason, what are we seeing from this defense coming out from this Kungarna team?
Well, I mean, it seems pretty standard to me. You got Izire on Soldier, you played from Cafe, Jesus on Tracer. Just pretty much 100% standard. I think Shane's going to be sitting near the payload, and when the dive comes in of Ace, he's going to jump into Cafe to protect. Just pretty much like kind of a role reversal between both teams, where this is exactly what the Savages was using on defense.
Key to me here is going to be Izire in the back, where Izire has proved to be a very good flex DPS. And last time we saw him in Hollywood too, he had very good control of just working between the front and the back. So for me, my eyes are on him. And right now, Jason, just focusing on tanks as they make their approach, not doing anything crazy, hiding in the back here because he knows the dive is coming in. They lose Jer early on, but Izire staying relatively protected in the back.
Yeah, but Jer going down, that's not a good start. I mean, they kind of needed him to obviously heal people up and be able to contest when it comes to these battles, but just support ultimates alone. But still, no kills happening. Considering there's already been kills on some supports, I'm surprised no one else has died so far.
I think the offense won the back out, regrouped just a bit, and with Jesus getting picked off in that Tracer v Tracer battle, now it's really just down to Izire to bring this back, but I don't think they have the personnel to do it. Still, they're going to make the attempt. Tac Visor up, looking for Derek. Gonna get him, looking for more, gets Capo as well, and they just fed this Tac Visor and actually might be able to come back into this fight, but they don't have much margin to spare here, Jason.
Because Hui did die or got desuited, that allowed the Visor to be so damn effective. The Transcendence is falling up as well. The post bomb is not going to stick, but it's going to land directly under Kalyun's feet, as they do pick him up, or rollerblades, I guess we should say. And Capo's going to come back and see his own stick, but not going to get the kill just yet onto Shane.
Not just yet, indeed, and Izire rotating around the back, think he's in the cafe, but no, he's on the sides. The problem is, there's not much of a presence on the point. He might have to throw his own body there, and he does. The sacrifice of Izire, not sacrificed for much, as he's immediately taken down, the payload is captured, and so far, a faster time being set here for the Savages.
Yeah, quite a bit faster. But how are they going to transition into the next push? You got Derek at 70% for his blade. He's trying to build it up right now. You got Jesus with his own pulse bombs, able to get the initial kill on Kalyun with his pulse bomb last time, and Izire already getting close to another tactical visor. The problem is, I don't know how you're going to protect him against this dive comp that Savages are using. You have the speed for Jer. I mean, you're going to have a sound barrier to keep him alive, but you don't invest a sound barrier just to keep one person alive.
Right now, Kungarna, they're just interested in going for the high ground, Jason. Although the counter dive comes in, I don't think it's very effective. Ace of Spades gets stuck. Hui goes down immediately. And even though the Dragon Blade coming out here from Derek doesn't really seem to be the right place or the right time, just outnumbered and outgunned. Still, there's payload progress going on while all this was happening, and Shane just got blown up.
I thought he was going to take Jesus down with them, but Jesus blinked away at the last second, but they got the reinforcements. They're pushing back in. The payload was only halted for a few seconds of time. They have a Transcendence now. Izire is going to have to use his tactical visor, but you know Plasma Stake. He's just waiting to hit that Q key right when he hears that come out.
You'd think that would be the case, and for Izire, you'd love it if someone were able to get that Transcendence out of Plasma Stake early, but no, Haku gonna get taken down quickly, and now Kungarna, looking at the end of a 5v6, 4v6, Izire says, screw it, I'm in, attack visor, but 2 tanks in his face, how much can you realistically do here as a solo 76? And the answer is, not much, Jason.
It's like shooting an elephant or a rhinoceros with a BB gun at that rate when you have 2 tanks in your face. They're going to get the capture. They're going to push now through into the third point with 4 minutes to go. And keep in mind, ZP, and everyone else out there watching, they don't even need to finish. They just have to get to that golden box of victory, and they'll be up 1 map in the series.
And they have 4 minutes and 30 seconds to do that. So the Savages right now living up to their name, looking savage indeed. And now, you look at the ultimates that they have coming up here. If Capo can force out the Transcendence of Haku, that's going to be a great setup for Derek because he'll have the barrier to back him up as well. So I want to look at Capo here. Is he going to force out the pulse bomb out? No, doesn't force it out. Haku didn't feel there was a need, and he was right. That would have been big, but it didn't quite happen.
I think Capo might have missed or got eaten because he was only at 0% on his post bomb. The dive comes in, Haku's gonna fall, there's no chance for Transcendence to be used, and there might not even be time for him to use it eventually because the payload is still moving, and they don't have far to go.
The dive so effective there. The blade could have lived a little bit longer, but hey, a 1-for-1 trade there, not bad when it's 3 people down total. They're keeping the payload moving forward, and they're just about at that yellow box of victory. Haku, though, back into the fight, off the respawn, opens up the Transcendence, and Kungarna, not quite done yet. But the self-destruct zones people off, kills 3 people. See ya, say the Savages as they take Hollywood, an explosive finish.
Not bad at all. I mean, honestly, the Savages, the only time they really got stopped was at the first point in the first attack. That was pretty much it. and then it was just clean pickings from there. A really good job. And considering like second point, what was so weird is that the Savages dove and got counter dove, but the only people that are the people who did not dive were the supports who were on the payload the entire time, and yet the Savages almost traded equally in that sense. They didn't have supports there, but they still traded equally. That's pretty ridiculous, and maybe that goes to attest to their focus fire of the team.
The focus fire on the Savages was definitely better. I think their tank positioning was better. Across the board, I think they were just better. I think the only part where I think it was a little bit more of a toss-up is that I think Izire, DPS-wise, was playing pretty well. I would say Izire was probably playing better than Derek for a decent portion of that. But other than that, the Savages just look like a more well-rounded team right now in how they're playing. But Jason, this is the best out of 3 series. Kungarna at least gonna have one more map to try and right the ship.
To just figure out where they want to go. They chose Lijiang Tower against Envision, I believe, because Envision had first choice last time when they did meet each other. And they actually no, sorry, it was Kungarna who chose Hollywood. So maybe Kings Row is the map they're going to be going to. I don't know. We'll
Dorado.
I mean,
never
yeah,
know.
Probably not. I would hope so. Just having a little fun with the guy saying, I think we're going to go to Blizz World next. And Ace of Spades like, don't spec me, I'll get lost in the map.
He's not going to get lost. He's just going to conveniently have fun riding the rides while the rest of his team plays Overwatch.
I could just see him on Winston, just like, hey guys, as he's like on the roller coaster.
You just see Winston going, wee!
Well,
that's exactly how Winston sounds, by the way, when he's on a roller coaster. His voice goes up like 8 octaves.
Well, you did the voice acting for him, right?
Absolutely.
Except if you did the voice acting for him, instead of a jar of peanut butter, it'd be a can of Diet Coke, probably.
That is absolutely true. I'm not sponsored by Diet Coke, but if I ever did get that sponsorship, Hex would be eternally jealous because for people who don't know the inside life of casters, Hex and I both share a crippling Diet Coke addiction.
Yeah. Well, luckily for Hex, it's Diet Coke and not the other kind of Coke.
Yes.
That his addiction is. But what's so weird is whenever we went to Contenders, so you guys were doing not regular Coke. When you guys were doing Contenders and we were doing OWPS, the entire fridge at Carbon Studios was just full of Diet Coke. Like the entire fridge, it was just the Diet Coke fridge basically. And it was so funny how quickly, like day by day, it would all disappear.
In fairness, it wasn't just Hex hitting that fridge. I was also hitting that fridge.
Oh no, Jamerson hit it. I think a lot of the other Contenders guys hit it as well.
No, Contenders-wise, I think it was just... Jamerson was definitely hitting it. Hex was hitting it. I was hitting it. I don't think anyone else was really feeding the Diet Coke. They would feed
so all three of you are hitting it?
Yeah. I know where you're going here, Jason, but yes, all 3 of us were drinking the Diet Coke on a regular basis. It was our vice.
Okay, so yeah, that was your guys' vice. Mine was the Mountain Dew, because Mountain Dew in Germany actually tastes a lot different than it does in the US.
Yeah, they try and make it healthy. They're not trying to kill you.
Yeah, actually. So what's funny in Germany is that the healthy food here is cheaper than the junk food, but in the US, junk food's cheaper than the healthy food.
Corn subsidies for everyone, Jason. That's the name of the game. But now that we're, let's shift gears a little bit back to the game, where it looks like we do have a swap coming in here, where Apply is coming in for Kungarna.
Yeah, so I don't know. Do you know much about him? I don't recognize the name off the top of my head.
I don't know too much about him myself, so I know we saw him play a little bit yesterday, but other than that, it's not a player that I know too much of the history of. I would assume that he's been fairly active in the Open Division, as many of these players have been. Not everyone. It's not like many of these players have just popped up out of nowhere, but they are newer to the level of play in the Tier 2 scene. That much is for certain.
You know what's so rough to me, like in Overwatch right now, is the fact of the teams who are trying to build a roster and are not in Contenders, then getting picked off, like picked to pieces, like by vultures practically of the Contenders teams who are trying to pick up a couple of people. We've had, I know for this tournament, trying to get teams into it, we had a lot of teams cancel last second because, this player just got picked up last second.
It has been medium vultures and large vultures, let me tell you, where you have Contenders teams picking off other Contenders teams, and then you have OWL teams picking off people as well, where, there's not going to be any leakeritos on the stream, but I've definitely seen more than a handful of players that were practicing at the Contenders level that have been scooped up to Owl. ACAM was not the only one.
True, very true. We have about 15 seconds before we do get underway here with Lijiang Tower. It is a 1-0 lead in favor of the Savages, though, and it looks like we're going to be seeing a Pharah yet again here out of Derek. And Apply as well.
So it's going to be a Pharah v Pharah battle. It will be taking place in the skies, but if there is a point of difference, Capo not coming out on a Roadhog. I have been debated. Feels bad, man.
Well, either way, I mean, we already had Harbor do it to us before. It's only fitting that Kappa does as well. They're pushing direct onto the point. Far v Far is going to be happening with Mercies in tow. So we're going to have the old meta coming back into light here between the two without the reses. But the position's already gone to Kungarna.
Savages right now on the outside tilt. Derek looking for a way in, shooting rockets through the windows, but not being too effective with it here so far. Shane, though, under pressure. They've learned to focus Shane, but this time, Shane able to get out. Instead, they just swap the focus to Harblu. As soon as Shane's out, they demech Harblu, and now Shane going to be working on his lonesome. But Ace of Spades, rezzed up. He was down. Letting Mercy get a res off in this meta now, Jason, is very bad. You got to punish those res opportunities.
You hate to see that happen when a team can't do that, but Derek gets a big kill into apply. Shane's going to be res back in, so both tanks, both wins is being brought in, and there's the barrage coming through, but it hasn't really netted too much. Harbu sacrifices his own life to get the kill into Derek.
All right, fight still continuing right now, but for how long? The Savages going to get pushed out perhaps? No, both teams dropping the beat, everyone's sharing their music, but Plasma Snake dying. Shane's dive works out just a bit. Shane, though, under pressure, not able to be healed up in time, as Ace of Spades takes out his counterpart and activates his Primal Rage. And Ace of Spades now buying time, but Apply was able to take down both D.Va and Lucio with the barrage, and as a result, Ace of Spades not able to keep the rage going. And it's been back and forth, but Kungarna looking like they will be getting first control at this point.
Yeah, finally, after, well, unfortunately I can't see the time, but after what felt like 5 minutes practically of just a constant skirmish on to the point, we've had barrages out of both teams, Soundbears out of both teams. I think he had some self-destructs in there, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, not one just yet, but they're both now online. Ridiculous fight out of both teams, but yeah, like I said, going the way of Kungarna. And now we need to see if the attacking far is going to work here, that we've been kind of criticizing here or there over the course of today and yesterday.
Attacking as a Pharah here is not the easiest of goals, that much is for sure. Derek right now, right behind Apply. Apply wasn't even looking at him, took a rocket to the backside and one to the front. And that is going to be Derek. Is he going to deny the res? Yes, stops Haku. Haku still gets the res up, but it's at the cost of his own life, and he kills Apply again. Derek on a rampage, and that is exactly what the Savages needed.
Oh, well, the barrage has come in. It's going to get the D-Stone into Harblu, and I think eventually someone's going to get the kill. Yes, it will be Capo. So Derek, like you said, he's being savage so far now, all this far in this second attacking phase. The point will be contested for as long as possible. Not going to be turned just yet. Jesus and I believe Shane will eventually be finished off. But they're buying another 10, 15% here or there, which is not bad.
They buy a little bit of extra time when necessary, but Derek was able to get through the sort of needle of Pharah play there, where you're running offensive Pharah on Night Market, found the proper way in, and now, as a result, the Savages in a good position here, and Derek gets to enjoy the superior Pharah positioning here over the top. Lands a good rocket to Shane, 2 rockets in fact, and they have to burn Soundbear just to keep Shane alive, as he was chunked heavily on Engage and just barely gets away with his life.
Yeah, picks up a mega health pack, so able to back off of this one. Applies the better of Derek this time, but Plasma Snake's trying to avenge his fallen brother. He tries to go for the Cadeus Blaster onto Apply, but he's not able to get the kill. But Hui will take down Harbor at least, and he has a self-destruct ready to go.
The Savages just rallying back around the point, and it works out. Capo just crushing the point, skirmishing here on the Tracer, looking for Jesus right now. Jesus in retreat, getting aided here by Jura, and Capo, he's done his job. He's chasing people off the point. He backs out. A job well done.
Yeah, Hui gets a suicide too, so he can get back in his mech and rejoin the fight. The big push is coming though, knowing that he's dead. They're going in with 4 people, leaving, I believe, Apply or Haku and Apply left to kind of fend for themselves. The pulse bomb's going to land, but it doesn't get a kill.
Ace of Spades going to use Primal Rage to delay this more here for the Savages. They deback Harblu early on. Ace of Spades looking for that knockoff here on the side and gets it. Shane hitting the mean streets of Lijiang Tower as the Savages continue to hold right now here on Lijiang.
I give credit to Kungarna. Like, that was a good time to push in. That was, I mean, a great time. They had a big window with Hui not being there. But I just couldn't finish off the kills they needed to. It was a little bit unfortunate. Hui was able to get a really big kill. I think that was onto Harblu to really kind of give them that solidification they need on the point, at least with the control.
Final attempt now coming out for Kungarna. Apply, has the barrage up. Hard to find a good chance to use it though, especially when Derek is floating quite literally above you. Valkyrie gonna be coming out here for Plasma Snake. Galyun falls early. They're not able to heal him up. Meanwhile, Apply moving in from Kungarna to the side. The self-destruct creates all the room needed. And they don't even need the barrage here, Jason. They're gonna take this just off the tank spacing and early pickoff alone.
Yeah, they did use, I believe it was the pulse bomb in there and the Valkyrie and a self-destruct, but I mean, obviously it's going to be worth it, right? To just get the point back instead of that 99% anyways. Jer's going to have a sound barrier. Kalyun's going to have his up as well. But Capo, I think he's going to be the person to watch. If you get a good stick here, if you get a good post-bomb kill, I think they can turn this point around.
Capo moving in. He was looking for Lucio. Didn't want to donate the pulse bomb into the defensive matrix. Here comes the barrier. No, Capo doesn't feel the beat, only feels pain of death as the engage from Kungarna. So clean there. A full wipe in their favor. And now it's the Savages finding themselves on the losing end with only one fight left to them.
So I think Derek can get around in time to touch the point, so they don't have to rush this just yet. Also, not to mention that Capo is actually waiting to just dash onto this one. They should be able to get there in time. The post has gone in. Ace Spades has already fallen. They will get the contest, at least thrown into overtime now, but they're down a man.
Difficult up to here. They do this down a tank, but Capo just dunks on Jesus, takes him down early on. Shane donates his life to the pulse bomb. Capo has brought the Savages back into what should have been a losing fight, and they might have this here, Jason. Kungarna is in a very tough spot indeed. Harblu uses self-destruct, didn't get much for it. Gonna get debacked here again. No one to help him here. Shane was already down, and the Savages getting control in a time where it matters most. We're in overtime, but they have a clear edge now.
I think they're just throwing bodies in one by one to prevent the actual capture from going in so they can recycle people and get them back in from spawn, hoping for a lucky kill, a lucky ultimate. Shane is going to have his Primal Rage, so he should be able to use this in time, but there's Derek with the barrage, takes down Apply, and that will finally, after, honestly, a very long extended market, let me Savages pick up the first point.
Capo. That was ridiculous because Ace of Spades was picked off for free in the beginning of that fight. Generally speaking, teams don't win fights in Overwatch when you lose your tank early on. That's just not something that happens. But he outright killed Jesus in that Tracer v Tracer battle, and then Shane went too deep, got a face full of pulse pistol ammo and a pulse bomb, and Capo turned what should have been a nearly unwinnable 5v6 into a very winnable 5-on-4. That was great Tracer play.
Yeah, very well done, and we'll see if he can continue into now Garden. It looks like Jesus will go directly for the point. Jesus versus Derek is going to be already happening. Jesus is going to take Capo down this time. So he gets revenge for himself, and immediately the rest of the Savages turn tail and run away.
Salty run back for Jesus there, but what a way. That's going to give them a big advantage in this first point control. Might not give them the first point outright, but look at the positioning that Kungarna gets here, Jason.
The point hasn't even unlocked, so technically it's like going to be just to be a refight. It's going to be the initial fight. Kalyun, though, gets knocked up in the concussive blast out of a bot. The Lucio is going to die, and they're going to lose Capo yet again. This is going to be Kungarna taking the point. There's no way I can see at all the Savages to fight back.
And that was the benefit of that early pick. Apply was able to be more aggressive in the center, had a better vantage point on landing that knockoff, and you don't get that if Jesus doesn't pick off Capo first. So that is the tale of momentum here on Lijiang Garden. And now we'll see how the Savages approach this to retake this point.
Oh, Derek's going to be coming in. Plasma Snake off to his side. Apply is going to go directly into Derek. No, actually he ignores Derek. He hits a direct rocket. Derek's going to get two. Apply's only get the return onto one, and Derek will be healed back up. They won the air battle. They actually almost captured the point with Capo touching it. And this is going to be, honestly, a really tough fight for Kungarna to win.
Hako needs to stop that. Hako's trying to force resurrections in situations where someone's looking at you. This is the new Mercy, not the old Mercy. New Mercy lost a step or two. You can't try and force resurrections with a Pharah above you. Derek was there for the punish, and the Savages just leaning up. Barrage was Barrage, and Apply gonna win that Barrage battle due to the aid of his friendly neighborhood diva and Harblu. A nice assist by Harblu, the one to set that up, and as a result, it's going to be Kungarna maintaining control.
Yeah, I was sure that the Savages were going to win that, but the Soundbreak coming out of Jur, it was always questionable at its timing of being used since there wasn't that many people around him to use it on, but that will allow them to hold on to the point.
Meanwhile, look at the ult advantage.
Capo. He switched to Widow in spawn to go for the kill on Haku, then switch back to Tracer.
Smart stuff, and they even have a huge ult advantage here. Ace of Spades going to be the first one to pop it. Primal Rage, looking for knockoffs, just zoning out here on the point. And the win here for the Savages would be not burn everything, but unfortunately they've burned just about everything but Valkyrie. However, they do cash in Jason. It's going to result in them taking this point. Smart swap by Capo, smart use of engagements. Maybe didn't use as much ult-wise, but they're still going to get quite a bit as you see Kungarna try and flood in and buy as much progress as possible.
I'm not sure if he caught it, but Haku used his Valkyrie from spawn and rushed back to the point and then just died immediately again. So that's going to be, unfortunately, a wasted ultimate for them. A big ultimate, especially when you're fighting in these like close proximities where the chain heal aspect of Mercy can be so effective. He's going to be sticking to Apply yet again. Derek and Apply have been kind of, staying away from each other for the most part, just kind of agreeing to an armistice as they're just attacking the ground.
Haku right now, in with Pharah. Apply in the back right now, getting damage, but it's Shane able to just pound Ace of Spades in the corner with that Primal Rage, and Apply finds Capo, so this fair pressure for Apply actually working out pretty well, supported by Haku, and this is deadly right now for the Savages. If they lose control here, they might not get another chance to contest as I drop my microphone unintentionally.
Well, that's how much ZP feels like this fight should be going the way of Kungarna. He drops his mic saying it's already done, it's dusted, it's over. About to take a look at a res on the Kalyun, but the res won't beat up Endure. Again, another sound barrier coming through. This point should be turned. Derek will eventually be finished off, and Capo, he's just got to stay alive. He's behind the entire team. Jesus has been able to spot him, and Capo's got to be careful to not die here. He needs to stay alive. He needs to be this threat for his team.
Capo right now trying to buy time, 14 HP, rewinds right out of there, and now he goes into the Lion's Maw once more. Rewind not there, time not on his side. He had to sacrifice his life. Here comes the barrier from the Savages. Derek, a last moment barrage, doesn't work out. He gets a rocket to the face instead. Ace of Spades is going to be able to buy more time with Primal Rage, but they haven't been able to turn this into... Oh, Capo! A triple kill, pulse bomb out of nowhere. The Savage is not quite dead yet.
El Capo coming up big with the triple kill, and they've wiped Kungarna out. They're only at 56%, so Kungarna will get another chance, but Capo, he did it on Night Market. He's doing it here again on Guard, and he's single-handedly turning these fights around and giving a chance to Savages.
That is crazy. That should not have been a winnable fight for the Savages, but just like the end of the last round, Capo doing the impossible, making the impossible possible. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, the big push is coming back in again. We're going to see Haku. He's going to have his Valkyrie up, and Jur's already been dropped. The Valkyrie will be popped, though, and I don't think Jur's in a position to easily be res, because Haku's going to be immediately focused down, not to mention Hui was sitting in window, denying him an opportunity to even get in towards the point. They're keeping them locked out. They're preventing this Valkyrie from being too effective, and they're holding on.
Capo takes the Tracer v Tracer, kills Jesus early on. Derek, working the outskirts, almost has the barrage. And there's the sound barrier for good measure. The Savages have brought this one back, and if they take this round here, Jason, they're gonna be knocking Kungarna out of the tournament. Overtime in progress. Kungarna's tournament life on the line right now. Can they bring this back? It's not looking good for them.
They don't have a pulse bomb. They don't have a barrage. They don't have any big ultimates. Harpu's fallen as he's trying to get back into his suit. They just don't have what they need in their kits to turn this around, and the Savages will be able to do it, and they will knock out Kungarna.
What a comeback for the Savages there. That was looking like at least we were going to round 3. But Capo, arguably stealing not 1 but 2 rounds from Kungarna here on Lijiang Tower, and very much sending them home.
Honestly, that was still pretty convincing. Like, that wasn't even... I don't know, like, that was still pretty convincing. Even though it was a 2-0, I think it still kind of showed how big the gap is between these two teams at the moment. I mean, yeah, it was a 3-2 on Hollywood, but the 3 that they did get had a ton of time left to even, like, finish off the map.
And I gotta say, this is sort of perhaps a changing of the guard where a lot of veteran names on that new Kungarna roster, but they will not move forward. Now, bear in mind, that Kungarna roster is working on solidifying where they're at because they're going to be fighting the champions of the Open Division for that final spawn contenders later this month. So, Kungarna, they have some things to fix, Jason, if they want to get in the contenders.
Can I ask you one thing real quick, ZP, before we head to break?
Yes.
Are you sitting here like an announcer holding a microphone, or...
No,
How does it keep dropping?
I don't have a stand for my microphone in this setup I'm in right now, so it's just sitting on the desk. But I get animated while I'm casting, and then I end up shaking the desk, and it drops, and
that's understandable.
It hits my lap, and it hurts. But I go through the pain to continue casting to you. But guys,
you're dedicated.
I'm dedicated, but not so dedicated that we can't take a quick break, guys. More Overwatch still coming at you, but we'll be back after this short break
with Kaiser.